What's up, guys? Hope you're well. So it is that time again where I bring you my very early table predictions for all 5 leagues for next season. So from National League all the way up to the Premier League. Today we're going to start with the National League, and I'm going to be honest. Every single one of these leagues are very hard to predict this season. Just like every season where all the tables are very hard to predict, but this year, in my opinion, is literally the hardest group of leagues to predict. Because especially the Championship, I mean, look at the amount of teams that are in that league. It's such a hard job to do when it comes to predicting the tables. But I'm going to give it my best shot today. Just remember, it's the early predictions. You know, not much has happened. Literally, not a single signing has happened this season so far because the transfer window isn't even opened yet. The only thing that has happened is Tottenham getting 2 free transfers, one of them being Andy Robertson, which is absolutely fantastic, and about 5 of the big 6 teams getting new managers. So that's all that's happened so far, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm going to throw up on the video now, showing you guys my predictions from last season and where they actually placed in the table. So hopefully I get to do a lot better this time round and have better predictions. But yeah, let's get started then. Before we get into the video, guys, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 400 subscribers, so if you guys could please smash that subscribe button, it does really help. And let's get straight into the predictions. Kicking things off with AFC Fylde, newly promoted back to the National League. I've got them down in 15th. I think they'll do really, really solid next season. I think they'll have a solid season back in the National League. They did very, very well in National League North. They were battling with South Shields for that top spot, but they came out on top and they did very well to get there. So I think AFC Fylde will have a strong season next season, and we'll just see who they sign. Next up, we've got Aldershot Town, and unfortunately, Aldershot Town, I've got you down in 21st, so my first relegation spot is out the way there. I just thought you guys were flirting around relegation a bit too much last season. I think if you're not careful, it could really come back to bite you. So just be very careful next season, Aldershot. But unfortunately for you guys, I think it will get you. So 21st place for me. Next up, we've got Altrincham, and another one that I think is going to have an underwhelming season. I put them down in 18th place. Usually in the National League, you get 1 or 2 teams having a very underwhelming season after they just had an okay season. And I think Altrincham might be one of those teams. So I do think they'll stay up, but I think they'll be having a bit of an underwhelming season. So yeah, 18th for me. Alright guys, moving on to Barrow, one of the newly relegated teams down to National League after having a really poor season in League 2. I have a feeling that they might struggle a bit next season. I don't think they're going to bounce straight back up. I've got them down in 12th place. Bit underwhelming for Barrow there, but I just think you might need to have a bit of a rebuild season, maybe rebuild your score, see where it goes from there, and maybe try and push for promotion the next season or the season after, depending on how well you finish next season. So yeah, 12th place for me for Barrow. Next up, we've got Boreham Wood, and I was really impressed with them last season. They got newly promoted to National League last season, and they had a very, very, very good season. Finishing in the top 4, unfortunately, they did lose the playoff final to Rochdale. Next season, I've got them down in 9th. I still think they'll have a very good season, but we all know how it goes. Once you've had a good season and you miss out on the playoffs, some of your players do tend to get picked up by either League 2, League 1, etc. Maybe they might be able to keep the vast majority of their squad. If so, they might actually do a lot better than what I predicted. But I just have a feeling that they might have a little bit of fall off next season, but not too much. 9th place is still a good season, but unfortunately, I don't think you're going to make the playoffs next season. So yeah, 9th place for Boreham Wood for me. Next up, I've got Boston United. Now, these guys did really well towards the end of last season, and I think if they carry on that momentum, they might actually place a lot higher. I've gone with 10th place for Boston, probably a bit high, considering a couple of seasons ago they weren't doing too great. But I do think Boston will do well next season. I believe in them. I think they'll do quite well. So yeah, 10th place for Boston United for me. Next up, we've got Carlisle United. I've got them down in second place. So this is probably a bit of a surprise to lots of Carlisle fans. They're probably going to expect me to put them in first. But don't forget, it is the early prediction, so they might end up being first in my official predictions. But I just have a sneaky feeling that it might be another bit of a heartbreak for Carlisle, just missing out of the top spot again and potentially going up through the playoffs. I think with Carlisle and the other two that I'm going to predict to finish in my top three, we should really look at trying to get those three out of the National League. But unfortunately, with Carlisle fans, I do think it will still have a very good season, but I don't think you're going to get into the top spot for now, because it is the early predictions. When it comes to the official predictions, like I said, you might be in first place for my predictions then, but for now, I'm going with second place for Carlisle United. Next up, we come to the National League team that I really support. It's Eastleigh. Eastleigh is a very local club to Southampton, so a lot of us Southampton fans really look forward to seeing how Eastleigh do each season in the National League. And of course, we really hope that they get promoted to League Two at some point. But as of now, I've got them down in 14th. I still think they'll do okay. Over the past few seasons, they've been a real big and mid-table team down in the National League. But I hope that eventually they do get promoted to League Two. But for now, I've got them to finish in 14th mid-table again. So yeah, 14th for Eastleigh for me. Next up, I've got Forest Green Rovers. I've got these guys down in 6th place. Over the past 2 seasons that they've been down in the National League, they finished in the playoffs but haven't quite reached that final stage to get promoted back to League Two. And I think they're going to have a very similar season again, finishing in 6th place. I still think they're going to have a very good season. They're a solid team down in the National League, but again, I think they're just going to reach the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to go as far as they probably like. But as of now, it is early. But yeah, 6th place for Forest Green Rovers for me. Right then, moving on to Gateshead. Now, these guys did have a very scary season last season, especially in the first half of the season. They were really down in rock bottom for the vast majority of the first half of the season, but something clicked and they managed to really pull out of it. I've got them down in 20th place, so just surviving, but they have to be careful. Otherwise, like I said, with Aldershot, it could really bite them really hard. So I'm going to say that they just stay up, but in 20th place for me. Next up, we go to Halifax Town. Now, these guys have been flirting around the top 7 for a couple of seasons now, and they've fallen short a few times as well. Last season, it was really a battle between them and Southend for that last spot in the National League playoffs, but unfortunately for Halifax, Southend did come out on top in that dogfight there. But this time, I think they will actually do it. I think with the right signings and the right bodies in the door, I think they'll do very well. So I'm going to go with 5th place and say that they actually get into the playoffs this time round. So yeah, 5th place for Halifax for me. Next off, we move up to Harrogate Town. Now, Harrogate Town are the second team to get relegated from League Two down to the National League. And I kind of have the same feeling about Harrogate as I did with Barrow. I do think they might struggle next season and not go straight back up. I've got them down in 11th, so just above Barrow. But I think both those clubs are going to have a very similar season. Could be a rebuild next season, and then maybe push on to the playoffs or maybe automatics the season after or the season after that. But it all depends on how their transfer for business goes and how the squad plays. So I'm going to go with 11th. Maybe with the right signings, I might put them a bit higher in my official predictions, but I'm going to go with 11th for now. So 11th for Harrogate Town. Next up, we've got Hartlepool United. Now, Hartlepool is another team that's been knocking on the door of the playoffs for a couple of seasons ago. And now they have managed to get in there a couple of times, but they've also managed to stay out of it, which is very annoying for their fan base, quite clearly. I'm going to say that they get in there this time round. I'm going with 4th place for Hartlepool. I think they will have a good season, and with the right bodies in the door, they will have enough to get into the playoffs. So I'm going to go with 4th place for Hartlepool United. Next up, we go to another newly promoted team that won the National League South playoffs. I've gone with We've got Hornchurch next. Don't get me started on the stadium. I respect you guys, but your stadium is terrible for the National League, let's be honest. And don't get your hopes up too just yet, because Gateshead reached the playoff finals and even their stadium didn't get approved by the EFL. So I've got Hornchurch to unfortunately finish dead last in 24th place. They were really pushing for the top spot in National League South, but they kind of fell away towards the end, and Worthing took their spot. But I think Hornchurch might have a really bad season next season, so I'm going to go with 24th place. Sorry, Hornchurch. Right then, moving on to Kidderminster Harriers, the next team that got promoted up to the National League. These guys won the National League North playoffs by beating South Shields. Annoyingly for South Shields, were top for such a long time, and then they fell away and then lost to Kidderminster in the playoffs. Now, Kidderminster, for me, are a really strange team, because the last time they came up to the National League, they struggled quite a bit and then got relegated. But when they're in the National League North, they're a bit of a bulldozer in National League North. They really roll teams over quite comfortably a lot of the time when they're down there. So I think with the right bodies in the door, they should be able to stay up. I've gone with 19th place for Kidderminster Harriers for me. So I think they will have a better season with the right bodies in the door. Get a few good signings, and then I think they'll do okay. So I'm going to go with 19th place for Kidderminster. Next up, we've got Scunthorpe United, and Scunthorpe, I've got them to win the league. For me, at the moment, I know it's early doors, but I've gone with Scunthorpe to win the National League for me. I think they're going to be a surprise package next season and have a lot of good signings and get straight back up to League 2 where they belong. You know, Scunthorpe is one of those teams that we really need to try and get out of the National League. Way too big for that league. So, yeah, Scunthorpe are winning the league for me in my early predictions. So, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, Scunthorpe fans. Do you think you could win the league? Next up, you've got Solihull Moors, pretty steady team in the National League now. I've gone with 13th place. They were having a bit of a sluggish season last season, but I think they'll have a similar season but do a bit better. So I'm going with 13th place for Solihull Moors. Next up, you've got Southend United, very unlucky team this one. They reached the playoff final a couple of years ago, lost that one, and then they went into the National League playoffs last season and lost that one as well. So very unlucky for Southend there. I've got them to finish third. I think they will have a very, very good season. And Southend are the third team that I think we really need to try and get out of National League and get them back to League 2. Way too big of a club to be down in National League. Really shouldn't be in there. So I've gone with third. Potentially they could win the playoffs and get up that way. But, you know, they really do need to have a good season. Otherwise, I do think a lot of their squad is going to go eventually and they might struggle. So I really hope they get promoted at some point. So, yeah, third place for Southend. Next up, we've got Sutton United, and unfortunately for them, they are going to fill my third relegation spot. I've got them down in 23rd place. Just have a feeling that they're not going to have a brilliant season. I do think they will struggle. They did struggle last season, really found it hard to get out of the relegation zone, and if they're not careful, they could get sucked in there quite badly. So, 23rd for Sutton United for me. Next up, we've got Tamworth. Now, Tamworth are a very steady club in the National League now. I've gone with 17th, bit of a mid-table one there, but I think they'll do okay. I'll go with 17th for Tamworth. I think they'll have a few good signings in there and do pretty okay. So, yeah, 17th for me. Next up, we've got Wilston. Now, I highly underestimated them last season. Last season, I predicted them to finish dead last, and for the vast majority of last season, they were fighting for a playoff spot. Excellent prediction from me. But this time round, I think they are going to have a good season again, but this time I'm going with mid-table. I'm going with 16th place. So not bad for Wilston, but I think they'll do okay this time round. So yeah, 16th place for Wilston for me. Next we have Woking, and in my opinion, Woking are a team that's on their way to becoming a very good club. They are currently being really well ran. They finished in the top half last season, so it's a very good season from Woking. I'm going with 7th place this time. I think they are going to reach the playoffs. I think they're going to have a fantastic season. They went on a really good run towards the end of last season, so I think they're going to follow that up with a playoff finish. So 7th place for Woking for me. Next up, we've got Worthing, the final team that's gotten promoted from the National League South to the National League. They won the National League South, and unfortunately for Worthing, they are going to take up my final relegation spot in 22nd place. I would love to see Worthing do well. They are a very good club. Not far from me, I'm from Southampton. Worthing are a bit quite near Brighton, so not that far away from us either. So I really hope that Worthing do well. But unfortunately, I do think they are going to fall short of survival. So 22nd place for Worthing for me. Sorry, Worthing. And now we're on to the final club, which only leaves one more placement in these predictions. We've got Yeovil Town. I've got them to finish 8th. Now, this is probably a rogue one because they didn't do too well last season. They were very hit and miss. They'd have a good couple of games where they got wins, and then they'd go on a big winless streak without getting any wins or any draws, etc. And they were having a bit of trouble with fighting relegation as well. We don't want Yeovil to do that because Yeovil definitely deserve to be back up in League 2 at some point. And I feel like with the right recruitment, with the right personnel in that in those changing rooms, I think Yeovil will have a good season. And for some reason, randomly, I've got them to finish 8th. I just have a feeling that they will have a good season. But it's early doors. We have no clue what's going to happen in the next couple of months. By the time my official prediction has come, this will have all changed, and Yeovil will probably be further down the table, or potentially in the playoffs, depending on who they get. But I'm going with 8th place for now. What do you guys think on Yeovil, if you're a Yeovil fan? So guys, that wraps up my very early table predictions for the National League. I hope you all enjoyed. Throughout this next week, I will be bringing you guys League 2, League 1, Championship and the Premier League. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't get too mad at the comments because it is very early doors. We have no clue what's going to happen within the next 2 months of the transfer window. All this could very much change by the time the official predictions come out. But this is what I'm going with for now. And yeah, guys, winning the league for me at the end of this was Scunthorpe United, and getting relegated, Aldershot, Worthing, Sutton and Hornchurch. Let me know your predictions down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.